let's begin what's trending.
We had our bad times that we disagreed.
Nigeria is more than President TINUBU.
We have RUFAI and Dr. ABATI and many more on studio, guys. Watch and see for yourself. Stick around to the end, like this video and share. Don't forget to subscribe. To all my amazing returning subscribers, thank you so much. So guys, let's dive right to the new updates.
A former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, has criticized governors under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, according to him, when he was chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, he was radical enough to challenge the government of the day. He blamed governors for not confronting President Tinubu over the current state of the nation. Amechi made the comments during the book launch of Sule Lamido, a former governor of Jigawa State. Amechi also narrated how he and Lamido worked against the second-term ambition of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Well, let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
We were quite good friends when we were in government. We had our bad times that we disagreed. I made the mistake of assuming that he was as radical as I was. So he was one of the governors I clinged to when it came to radical decisions. And I will tell you one of the things. There were several things that happened in the course of our friendship. The last one, before we broke ranks, was that we agreed, all of us agreed to go against President Goodluck Jonathan. And we formed a committee, governors and all that. At the end of the day, he was to find a new party called SDP. We said if we go to the new party called SDP, we'll lose the election. Let's hang on to this one called the APC. He disagreed and he left us. That's the only place we disagreed. I thank you for the fact that you spoiled a lot of my decisions as Governors Forum Chairman. Because yes, you are radical. You thought you were not as radical as we were. But we've discussed Nigeria in detail and we thought we should move forward as a country. I asked you this morning, what is going on currently now in Nigerian politics? Could it have happened when we were governor? The answer is no. And you said no. We will confront the government. We will confront the president. You know that. That's how radical we were. That's how our Governors Forum was. That's how determined we were to change things. But I don't have to be forgetting that. I wish you the best. I will make my contribution to you privately as two radicals. I shall announce it. No, they will think I have money. God bless you.
All right, RUFAI, I'm going to bring you into this conversation. Rotimi Amechi there. It was during the book launch of Sule Lamido, Being True to Myself. I believe that's the title of the book. And right there, he's talking about, him being radical and, the government of the day or the governors of the day are not challenging this current administration. A lot of Nigerians have said, is this really true? I mean, we know that the PDP governors have challenged President Tinubu's emergency rule at the Supreme Court at the moment. And some comments that I have seen, people are saying, Rotimi Amechi, you are one of the problems of Nigeria. Over to you.
I mean, a lot of people can say everything they want to say about Rotimi Amechi. Yes, he has his own faults. Please, I'm not going to deny that. But for him to say that governors today are not challenging, I don't think so. I know of Governor Dauda, for instance, was somebody that when I interviewed him, he said boldly that it was against state of emergency rule. I've interviewed many other governors that can own up and criticize President Tinubu on state of emergency rule. But Governor Dauda said, I challenge it and that's why I'm going to court. And there are many other instances he has constantly challenged the status quo. But, for other governors out there that are constantly decamping, and they say because they've decamped, they can't challenge the incumbents, the truth has to be said. See, Nigeria is for all of us. Nigeria is more than President TINUBU. The earlier we realize it, the better it is for all of us. The day we realize that you as a state governor at this point in time, if the presidents have done something wrong, it is for you to call a spade, because you are doing it in the interest of the nation. If you don't do, the nation will not move forward and posterity will judge you. The better for all of us. What I expect some of these governors to do is that, apart from the fact, I know some of them, their hands are tied because of their aligning for 2027 when they're decamping, is to be able to ask due questions. Take, for instance, I've not seen as many governors also come out to challenge the president on this idea of going to London for a press conference to show the achievements of President Tinubu. The question is it the achievement of hunger and poverty and the killing of our valiant soldiers by this faceless terrorist group is going to show in London? Why do you need to go to London? You have ministerial briefings every time there. Is that not a show of achievement alone?
All right, Rufai, I mean, you have just made the point there. And, you know, it takes me to my next story, which you have just mentioned now. Meanwhile, top government officials, including the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, are heading to London to unveil the achievements of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration at an international press conference, eliciting a wave of reactions. The event, which is scheduled for Friday, June 27th, will serve as a platform for ministers and agency heads to highlight key accomplishments over the past 2 years. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Ben, who wrote, "They leave Nigeria to contribute to the already thriving 5th largest economy in the world, yet just last week they were preaching Nigeria first. It's clear they are completely out of touch. I suppose next, Keir Starmer will relocate his entire team to Abuja because clearly they have no real concern for the country they claim to lead." Well, Chigozie wrote, "Tinubu's ministers flying to London to showcase achievements is peak hypocrisy. If your work truly speaks, why run abroad to seek validation? Nigerians are hungry, angry, and broke. Fix that first. This regime spends more on image than impact." Dr. Abati, over to you.
Okay, first, let me deal with the statement by Governor Rotimi Amechi, because I was in government during the period that he was talking about, and, you know, as a witness to history. Now, he's saying that they were very radical during their time,
yes.
And Governor Sule Lamido, as he then was also very radical, and they were always challenging the Jonathan administration. This should be put in context. What I recall was that at that time, with Governor Rotimi Amechi, as he then was, as chairman of the Governors Forum, he was leading the rebellion against the federal government for the sharing of the excess crude account. Excess crude account was, you know, saving money for the rainy day. And Dr. Konje-Iweala was coordinating minister of the economy at that time. The first rebellion that he led was to say, look, this process should be for the federation account. Just let us share the money. I think they succeeded at the end of the day. So the radicalism is that of governors confronting the president of Nigeria. Of course, when he wanted to get a second term as governor of chairman of the Governors Forum, of course, the presidency did not support Governor Amechi because he had over-radicalized the Governors Forum against the federal government. Now, maybe that's what he's talking about opposing, challenging the authority of the president of Nigeria. Now, another incident that I recall is that, look, that second term, I think there was division, 16 to 19 or so, with Governor Jang leading one faction, with Governor Amechi leading another faction at that time. In other words, due to, you know, differences on what should be done with funds, there was, of course, a disagreement between the presidency and the governors. As for Governor Sule Lamido, as he then was, the confrontation that Governor Amechi, as he then was, may well be talking about, was that during the Jonathan presidency, one of Governor Alhaji Sule Lamido's sons was arrested at the airport for not declaring the forex exchange that was on him. I think it was about $50,000, whereas you are not allowed to carry more than $10,000. Now, Governor Lamido then, you know, felt that this was embarrassing, that the son of the governor should not be treated in this manner. Of course, till that government came to the end, he was not on good terms, more or less, with President Jonathan. So these things must be put in context. Now, radicalism that requires governors to be confronting the federal government, you know, is that what is being recommended? The second thing is that, apart from the president, it's not the president alone that constitutes this democracy. What of the governors and their own responsibilities? All these governors that are serving under President Tinubu now, okay, even if they say they have moral right to confront the president, how responsible are they themselves? Many of these governors should be challenged on a daily basis by the House of Assembly. So that's that about that. You know, but I've congratulated Alhaji Sule Lamido on the publication of his autobiography. I've read out his profile. He's an accomplished politician. There's no doubt about that. But to say attacking the president is a virtue has to be properly contextualized. Now, on the issue of going to London, roadshow, where it looks like a jamboree. Yeah. When you look at all the persons involved, they are going with the Minister of Interior, they are going with Minister of the FCT, they are going with NUPRC CEO, the CEO of the Mortgage Bank, the Federal Mortgage. All of that, it's like they are all leaving town. Okay, the contest is that this is midterm of President Tinubu. By May 29, there will be celebrations up and down. But the crowd that is going to London, I mean, all those people will go with assistants. So the explanation they can give is that, oh, they want to go and explain to Nigerians in the UK. Well, of course, we have, you know, a large Nigerian community, you know, including present company, you know. But
Adefemi Akinsoya.
Oh, yeah, no, they know you're an American.
No, I mean, she's British,
she's
right?
British, British yes. Nigerian. Yeah. So maybe to explain and engage Nigerians in London, where every little thing somebody will go and protest. Every little thing there will be a street protest. Yes. But the size, the scale, and the timing of it, and the design of this, you know, what appears to be a jamboree is what we question.
Absolutely. I mean, Dr. Abati, speaking about, you know, officials going to London and the street protests, which you are absolutely right, because on Monday, dozens of Nigerians under the Rescue Nigeria Now movement staged a protest outside the Nigerian High Commission and the UK Home Office. The protesters were demanding the deportation of former NNPCL boss Mele Kyari, accusing him of fleeing Nigeria to evade EFCC persecution over alleged multi-billion-dollar corruption. The protesters carried placards with inscriptions that read, "London is not for public officials who abuse public trust," chanting, "Kyari must go." The group submitted petitions to both Nigerian and UK authorities alleging that Kyari mismanaged refinery funds and ran a shady fuel subsidy regime while Nigerians faced fuel shortages. I know we have those images. There they are, the images of the Nigerians outside there protesting at the UK High Commission. Although it is unconfirmed if Kyari is in London at the moment, but this is what Nigerians are doing at this point, telling our officials, listen, don't come here to hide. Don't come here to hide our money. Don't come here and, you know, evade arrest. We will call you out. I'd like your thoughts on both stories. Nigerians go and the ministers, officials going abroad to showcase their achievements to the people of London, and of course, the story I just read.
Okay, well, you know, Nigerians are angry. Yes. And when you bring up NNPC, it's an emotional topic for a lot of people because of the amount of money that has gone through that institution without commensurate development or dividends to the people. Now, the recent report from the World Bank, which says that, okay, when subsidy was removed, not all of it was being, it wasn't even being paid into the Federation account. Only recently 50% started being paid and so forth, because NNPCL itself has arrears, it has commitments, there's so much happening there. So they've called for a forensic audit. The question is, this audit, when is it going to happen? Because Mele Kyari himself has said that whenever they call me, I will answer. I will answer for my tenure. So what needs to happen is this: the current leadership, the new sheriffs in town of NNPC, need to hit the ground running where the forensic audit is concerned, because people want answers. People want to know what really happened. Does it need to be handed over to the EFCC? Whoever needs to be handed over to the relevant organization, it must roll, and somebody must be accountable, because we know that the rot was there. And of course, Mele Kyari, as the figurehead, is the person that people will target their anger towards. So I hope that this investigation can happen very quickly. Now, to the jamboree, as Dr. Abati called it, in London, I have two ways of looking at this. I have two perspectives. The first perspective is that when an economy is doing well, your citizens will be the first people to be your ambassadors. Even those in the diaspora will be the first to tell people around them that our country is doing well. So when you're traveling around, yes, of course, diplomatic engagement is important, even for economic engagement to attract investors and so forth. But it reads damage control is what it sounds like and it looks like. So when I read one of the statements, they were saying that they want to counter some of the negative narratives, the demarketing that has been done out there. Is this the way to do it, or is the solution to hit the ground running and correct those things, and so that you don't give people an opportunity to do what you're calling demarketing? On the other side of it, very quickly, I'll talk as quickly as possible. On the other side of it, I listened to a story the other day from Zimbabwe, actually, where a delegation went to Japan. And they said that they struggled when it came to engaging the Japanese businesses. Why? Because most of the investors there thought that Zimbabwe still had the condition of hyperinflation that it became known for. So they were saying that, yes, sometimes when we go around the world and we talk about our country's problems, we don't realize that, yes, there is a stigma that is created that some who are too lazy to do their research are unable to overcome when trying to engage in business. So in doing so, it's a catch-22 for me. But this engagement could have been done very easily virtually from here, any part of Nigeria, and the message still would have hit home, not just to UK, but to the whole world.
Absolutely, and I agree with you.
And ambassadors, they'd be able to do that too, isn't it? Exactly. We still don't have
I love that point that you made, virtually, and which is what a lot of Nigerians were asking. Couldn't they do this virtually? Like you said, it's a complete jamboree. We're exporting our money out there. What is the purpose of showing off what? I mean, they just unveiled the Nigeria First policy. Well, I hope that, you know, the administration will listen or take a look at what we are talking about here. If there's a way they can change this whole jamboree, it's in June. I believe it's happening in June. If not, I mean, I hope the people in London will attend the conference. We'll take another story now. Well, talking about students and, you know, more of that. In the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Monday announced major changes to the country's immigration system as part of efforts to cut legal migration and restore public confidence, which includes strengthening the English language and reducing the length of time students can stay in the country after completing their studies. Well, under the new rules, the graduate visa route will also be reduced from 2 years to 18 months, while the residency requirement for settlement and citizenship will be extended from 5 to 10 years. The reforms outlined in a white paper titled Restoring Control Over the Immigration System also propose phasing out overseas recruitment for social care jobs by 2028. Well, in the meantime, this is all coming after Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch urged Starmer to adopt a bill that will deport all foreign criminals. The bill also includes mandatory age checks and tougher visa rules and aims to make asylum support repayable. Well, let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
We've introduced a deportation bill because we're committed to bringing immigration down. Back in February, we demanded Labour triple the time for new immigrants to get a British passport. They voted it down. And now they've brought in some half-assed version that's not going to work. Here's what will work. Deport all foreign criminals. Mandatory age checks. No more pretending to be kids. Tougher visa rules and salary thresholds. Disapply the Human Rights Act to immigration cases. No more abusing human rights laws to dodge deportations. Make asylum support repayable, and no permanent right to stay in the UK if you've relied on benefits. Until that's law, we won't fix this. Labour should adopt it now. It's time to get tough. That's what the Conservatives' deportation bill delivers, and we're going to go further. Our country is a home, not a hotel, and if we don't defend it, no one else will.
All right. You know I'm coming to you, our international correspondent, on this topic. Absolutely. I wanted to go to RUFAI, but we are still waiting for connection with RUFAI. But, you know, since you are British and you know these stories, in fact, I'd like for you to tie in both stories, because we wanted to take Kemi Badenoch, making this whole immigration issue her brand. And she talked about the fact that by this year, 2 million you know, 2 million migrants will become British citizens, and she's not really happy with that.
Well,
not happy at all.
First and foremost, that's not a bad thing if people are legally becoming citizens. I think that's the whole point.
Yes.
That you want legal migration, you want people with talent to come into the country and receive citizenship off the back of it. It is unfortunate that Kemi herself, as you've said, has made this her personal brand, because she is the person who has benefited personally from being able to be an immigrant, from having these opportunities. And it is unfortunate, we do see this a lot, that people come into the country, are able to reap the benefits of the United Kingdom and then close the door behind them. That is unfortunate. It is being a gatekeeper, and it is very sad. That being said, when it comes to the topic of foreign criminals being deported, that's actually not too far away from what actually is the state of affairs in the United Kingdom. If you are arrested, often you are asked to prove what your immigration status is, and if it is determined that you don't have a right to be in the country, you will be deported. So she's not really saying something that's really of substance.
Absolutely. Now we have RUFAI Oseni. Your thoughts on Keir Starmer at this moment, reducing legal migration, and of course Kemi Badenoch talking about deporting foreign criminals and, you know, reducing this sort of immigrants coming into the United Kingdom. Your thoughts?
Oji, the truth is painful, but I love to say it. This is a reflection of how Nigeria has gone down the drain. The fact that the British are trying to reduce the number of students that will come in, and Nigerians are unhappy about it. This was the same Britain in the 70s that when Nigerian students go to school there, they come back to Nigeria. In fact, in the 70s, if you went to school abroad, they laughed at you because the quality and the standard of education here was a whole lot better. And I do not blame Kemi Badenoch, because this was what she was voted for. If you go and look at the Tory hard rights, they are pro-immigration. And as the immigration numbers keep going up, they don't want people to come to their country. So they will try as much as possible to siphon opportunities like social care and the likes, just to be able to discourage people. The question is, when are we going to fix our country? In the 1970s, the dollar was less than the naira. Today, it's 1,600. Oji, we are talking about educational system. Educational system is so bastardized today, and I think JAM needs to also investigate, because those students who have a point as regards, there might probably be a technical glitch, we don't know. But in generality, educational system is so bastardized today because over the years, government has not invested in it. Education started getting bad after the Ali Must Go riot, when the same government started to defund education. And the truth is, our politicians can say the students are not reading. Are they incentivizing education for them? Look at the awards given to a child that does very well in school, and look at the award given to the winner of Big Brother. Do we look like a society that wants education to thrive? So I'm not surprised that we are having results like this, because we have not done a lot in the educational sector over the time. And it is very sad that the same political leaders today that enjoyed free education, that enjoyed scholarships, are the ones prevailing over the destruction of the educational system in Nigeria. This is an indication for us to go back, buckle our belt, and do better. If Nigeria was working well, and that was the point I was making when I was saying we don't need to go to Jamboree to the UK and go and sell Nigeria. If Nigeria was working well, the same UK that a lot of Nigerians, that when they go to school abroad, are proud to come back home, is the same UK they're trying to stay back in today. It's because things are not working well. And when we say it, people will start feeling bad. The truth is bitter. We'll say it to them. Until we look inwards and introspect and grow this nation with a lot of potential, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to keep revolving around these circles and having all of these stories. Oji, real quickly as I wrap up.
All right.
The federal government is trying to get life insurance for government officials at a time Nigerians are suffering. What is the welfare of our soldiers? It's constantly about themselves and these political people. We need to change the mindset. That's why Nigeria is not working today.
All right. All right, RUFAI, thank you very much. And I hope you have fun in Abidjan. I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow, but have a good time.